Hi, my name is Jeff Peek with the Peek & Tolan Law Firm, and I wanted to spend a few minutes just giving you a brief update on President Trump's proclamation from April 22nd that would suspend all entry by immigrants in the United States based on potential harm to the labor market. I wanted to give you a few bullet points of what he did say, what his proclamation didn't say, and some potential risks in the future for all employers and family members out there. So first of all, this was a proclamation issued for those outside the United States, principally intending to immigrate. Now, if you remember, he had already suspended entry into the United States pretty much for all reasons except for emergencies by all non-immigrant visas anyways. So this is basically amounting to a complete shutdown, including certain people who are immigrating from the outside of the United States. But the proclamation was for those outside the United States, not those inside the United States. It's also for those who didn't have an immigrant visa already issued to them as of April 22nd. So for example, if you were at the consulate and already had been issued your permanent residency, but you were outside, you still would be allowed to come in. Who's most likely to be affected? Who is not affected by it? Well, who's not affected is currently permanent residents. So if you are a permanent resident, you were outside the country when he made this proclamation, you're still obviously allowed to come back in. Luckily, spouses and children of United States citizens are not covered by this and not affected by this. So if you are a U.S. citizen filing for your spouse or child who are outside the United States, they will still be able to process and come in. And obviously, if they were already inside the United States, they also can continue to process. Investor visas for those in the EB-5 investor program. This is obviously, doesn't apply to most people, but there's a handful of wealthy individuals outside the United States who are processing investor visas where they're investing large amounts of money to immigrate to the United States. Since those dollars typically provide jobs and statutorily have to provide jobs, those visas are continued allowed to be processed outside the United States. And obviously, he made an exception for spouses and children of men and women who are in the armed services, both permanent residents and citizens who are sponsoring family members to come inside the United States. They also are not included in this ban. He also made a provision for doctors, nurses, and researchers who are involved in the fight against the COVID-19 coronavirus. They will continue to be allowed to process their immigrant visas, and any other alien that Department of Homeland Security determines is a national interest, could be for law enforcement reasons or other reasons that they deem important. This is for 60 days. The announcement took effect on April 23rd. It'll go through obviously June 22nd. They said that they are also looking at potentially seeing if this is going to continue to apply to non-immigrants. Currently, this proclamation is only for those seeking permanent residency and did not apply to non-immigrant visas. There are many people who are still processing non-immigrant visas. The problem obviously is that many of the consulates, if not all the consulates, are pretty much shut down right now and not receiving new applications unless it's on an emergency basis. So that has to be taken on a case-by-case basis. If you have somebody outside the United States who needs to come in on a non-immigrant visa and you think there might be a chance there's an urgency or emergency to it, contact us and we can check that out for you. Who's going to be most affected by this, honestly, is spouses and children of permanent residents. They were not included in this. So permanent residents, as you know, many have lived here for many, many years. They will not be able to bring their families, their spouses, and their children in while this ban is in effect for the next 60 days. So you could literally have somebody who is ready to go to the consulate, they had an appointment, they're already approved, they just need to get their residency issued and they come in. They will not be allowed to come in at this point if they did not already have their residency issued on April 22nd. Also, parents of United States citizens who are considered immediate relatives, if that citizen's over the age of 21, they are not going to be allowed to come in while this ban is in effect. Also, siblings of United States citizens, which is frustrating because many in the sibling category have been waiting sometimes 15 to 20 years in that category, and sometimes even more depending on the country, and they will be temporarily suspended even longer while this ban is in place. Also, foreign workers who are being sponsored for immigrant visas of various types. There's all these sorts of professionals who sometimes get sponsored by businesses and companies for permanent residency. If for whatever reason they were unfortunate enough to be outside the United States when this ban went into place, they will not be allowed to process their immigrant residency visa. So I hope that is helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can see our website and our phone number here attached to this video. We'd be happy to serve you. Again, my name is Jeff Peek. I'm the managing partner of Peek & Tolan, and we look forward to helping you in the future.